Hi, welcome to C1 Risk Training. Today we're going to be looking at how to launch the evidence collection process for your audit in the compliance module. And we're going to be focusing on that audit period, start date and end date to ensure that you collect your evidence well in advance of your audit, or long enough in advance that you can validate it, but not too far in advance that the auditor doesn't accept the document and ask for a more recent one. Okay, so let's show you how we do that in the platform. Okay, so here we are in the platform, and I'm just in my evidence library today. Obviously, we can do this from the internal control, but I'm just going to add a new evidence request here to show you how we build this out. And let's just say it's information security policy that we're looking for, whatever piece of evidence that may be. So of course we name it. We want to put a description in for the evidence owner. This is the person who's going to provide us the evidence. Remember, we can add those additional contacts if you need somebody else to have access to potentially upload the evidence. We would connect our internal control here. Very, very simple. So I just looked up 5.1.1 there. So now I've got my control. This is my ISO. And so now what I want to do is I want to set that collection period. So for a policy, we want to do an annual collection, obviously. So I'm actually going to skip down here and just set that request frequency as annual. This is going to actually automate the evidence process. So let's say it's September now. Let's say I'm beginning to prepare for an audit that's going to take place in February. So I want to make sure I have all of the documentation in by January at the very, very latest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this start date. This is the latest date that the auditor would accept a document to have been created in the past. So it's a cutoff that goes back in the past. So maybe as we're doing a February audit, for a policy, the February 2023, the auditor is going to be saying it's got to be something that was created between January 2022. And then I want to make sure that I have this collected in time. So probably the auditor would say, well, December 31st, but I want to make sure I have that collected before. So I'm going to say, I know we do our policy review in October. So I'm going to collect that policy November 1st. And that way I'll have plenty of time to validate it and do my internal audit if I need to, or whatever I need to do. So again, just to highlight this, then the end date is when the document request will go out to the evidence owner. So putting this here now, I can I've added the primary contact. I can set the collection days if I want. Maybe I'm only going to give them 10 days to upload this, and then I'm going to click save. What's going to happen is on 11/1/2022, so a couple of months from now, that document request will go out. Now, I've set it for 11/1 because I know I'm going to have it collected ideally by 11/11, and that's going to give me a month to validate it, to do my internal audit, and then make sure I've got everything in place for my actual audit in February. So this is the way we want to think about it. That evidence end date is the date that we want to start collecting evidence. And what that will do is that will kick off a document request. I'm actually going to do it manually here to show you how it's done. So that's going to kick off a document request like that. And then what will happen once that document request has gone out, it would normally go out on 11/1. The evidence record will then actually automatically update as well and be ready for your next year's audit. So you never have to do this again. Once you've set this cadence, you do that again. Okay, so whatever that cadence is, annually, quarterly, whatever, think about when you actually need to have that document collected by in order to give you time to validate it, to do internal audit, to get everything ready, get all of your other documentation in for your actual audit. That should be your end date. You should not put your end date as the day before you're going to start audit. That's not the point of this. The end date is the signal of the collection period end. So we want a document that's been created after 11/2/2022 and before 11/2/2023. So ideally, as close to 11/2/2023 as possible. That's basically what the auditor is going to look for. So as long as we get our document within a couple of weeks of 11/2/2023, we'll be ready for our audit in February 2024. Just like with this document request, we're going to be ready for our audit in 2023. All right, so that concludes our training for today. If you have any further questions, you can always contact support@c1risk.com, visit our support center for more training videos, or contact your account manager if you're thoroughly confused and just need more help. We're always here for you. Thanks very much.